Hey everyone, welcome to Knox Makers. It's Tuesday night. Every Tuesday we do show and share where we show off projects we're working on, something we've made, something we've completely failed at, to warn others how not to fail and celebrate our projects. We have a sign up list when you first walk in the door, and the first thing on the list is Matt and Brooke, who are showing off their first arts and crafts kiln creations.
Hey everybody. Hi. We have melted glass. This is what came out of our first experiments with our new craft kiln with dichroic glass. And we're going to pass these around so you can see, but there's tiny little millefiori flowers in the one that Matt did. And I don't know if you can tell my little obsession what I made here for my love for Knoxville. But these were created with a square panel of fusible glass with smaller bits put on top. When you melt them, glass tries to gather and become as strong and as thick as it can be. And it actually created these shapes from a square. So we're quite excited that this worked, and we're hoping very soon that we'll be able to get enough glass to have a class and everybody can play. And hopefully you can see that they're about the right size for pendants or,
as you may know, we have the Mystery Maker machine where you can make something that would fit into one of these little capsules, and we can sell it at the market, which is coming up. So this would be an excellent thing for you to make a cool little doodad that would fit into the Mystery Maker machine. And if you're interested in this, or if you want to talk more about it, then find us after show and share. We'll happily talk to you all about it.
you do have to use special glass. All glass will melt, but it won't all melt and fuse into itself. If you were to put, as we found out, stained glass scraps into the kiln, they will shatter.
How extensive have your experiments with different types of glasses been? Like, can glass bottles be recycled using this to make art?
Some glass bottles can be, but you find out by either exploding or melting. So, if you like your glass bottle, I wouldn't test it out. But normally, there are two types of glass that are specifically made to be fusible, and they are coefficiency 96 and 90. We are experimenting with 90, which is very fun. If you wanted to melt and shape a glass bottle, try it with a regular propane torch first. You can get really fun shapes. You can watch how it goes, and it shouldn't shatter.
How long did that take?
It was 15 minutes in the, was that 15 minutes in the kiln? It was 15 minutes in the kiln, 2 hours to cool down. And a few minutes to make a design that'll melt.
We've got a starter kiln. So that means it's going to use a regular outlet. There is no ventilation that needs to be special, but it also means that it has limited capability and cannot run for more than 15 minutes at a time and needs to cool down completely in between fusing. So 15 minutes. And that little tiny kiln revved up to 1500 degrees, lickety split, made a puddle, and then we had to wait 2 hours.
How many of these can you do at one time?
4.
At least 2.
4 to be safe. You do need to line with kiln paper and do some things. You don't want anything to be too close because it does become a puddle of glass. So we didn't want ours to touch, or else you would have a much bigger piece. Any other questions? All right.
We'll pass them on.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that in action more and see what people come up with. Next on our list, we have Carteret, who has some metal shop projects.
Hello. For anybody who has seen my presentations before, a lot of it has been this attempt to pull other pieces of my life into this room and share in some kind of way. But for the first time, I have a physical object that I can share. And this is, I'm considering it a collaboration with the welding department because the design was created by the welding department, and then I did the finish and tacked it together. So this I want to go ahead and send around. So that was the product of taking the welding class with Joe, and then I recently took the machining class with Billy, and last night spent some time creating a solution, really creating a bumper for this e-bike that I've got so that I could put a ball on it and tow a trailer so I can transport heavier and longer materials like lumber and stuff like that. So if I've cut that together to about a 2.5-minute video that I feel like would be simplest way to share. Is that the vibe? And then I have the bike here, and anybody who wants to see it can. To a 2x4 to this jump here at Knox Makers. See this little temporary setup for the ball, and then this hitch. You bolted to a 2x4 to this jogger. It's time now to rework this part. This was really just a way to get everything over here. Made this thing quick and dirty in my backyard. Now it's time to get a more proper fabrication, the long-term version of this. All right, I've got this plate off of the back. And I've got the ball off of the plate. I've got these sideboards, which are used for the passenger's feet. I've got those pulled off, so now it's going to be something like tracing this pattern and these bolt holes onto this material, also cleaning it up and fabricating some brackets and putting everything back together. Now it's time to cut this piece of metal on this. Got my 2 strips of metal cut. You can see they're rusty, so I'm going to clean them up with this sander. I got my 2 strips of metal a little bit cleaned up and ready to transfer the marking with this transfer punch through the holes in here, so then I can drill holes in these metal plates. Now I'm center drilling. And now I'm drilling. I just finished welding a bracket for mounting the ball onto the bicycle. So next up, test fit this onto the bicycle, and if it works and everything's good, then go ahead and put the ball on it to be done for now. To fit. The bracket fit on there, no issues. So now I can put this in. So that was last night, and it's right here, and I used it to tow a little homemade trailer over here today, which is not very well assembled. That's more of like a sketch. This I do feel pretty proud of the way it came together. I feel like it is representative of the skills that I feel proud of, and that I'm so glad to have access to these spaces so that I can wield. And that's it. That's it for this one. Any questions? What you got? How much what now? I don't know. Figuring it out day by day.
So if you put up, you said you had the passenger on the back, you said for the bed.
Yeah.
So how, the motor or engine, whatever it is, how's that going to have the capacity to have 2 people on plus a trailer?
I didn't catch every bit of that, but you were asking about something about the passenger part.
No.
Capacity with passenger and trailer.
But 2
That's a lot of
people,
weight.
yeah, with 2
Yeah.
people and the trailer, is the motor capable, or you're just going to run?
Well, I haven't tried that before. I think the back is rated for like 175 kilograms. Is that right? I don't know kilograms. Anyway, it's designed to be able to hold an adult on the back. And I haven't tried it with an adult on the back and also, a trailer. I feel like it is, the limiting factor from my experience really has been the brakes. Like they're hydraulic, which is pretty cool, but they just like start squealing and don't seem happy. They don't seem happy, yeah. So really what I was doing, this is my housemate's bicycle. And so what I was doing was finding a way to integrate the function that I felt like I needed without disrupting any of the existing functions. And I feel like I was able to accomplish that and do it in an elegant way. So it's less about carrying a passenger and a trailer and more about being able to do either or, depending on the mission at hand. Anything else? All right, thank y'all.
Maybe some brave soul will help you test it afterward. Maybe. Next up, we have Walter, who has cardboard swords.
I am so excited to share my new addiction with you guys. I owned 0 swords 2 weeks ago, and I own 6 swords now. I'm going to take you through a crash course of some of the things I've learned, and I'm going to have them all out in arts and crafts for those of you that want to poke and prod and swing them around, because they're pretty fun. The first one that I made, this one here, and this was let's see if we can get this to play nicely. This one was a 3-layer construction with then cardboard for the guard and the handle, so completely cardboard. And this was the first one I did, and I was like, ooh, that felt good. Let me try again. So using that same design, I did this one, which got gussied up, got some paint. Rather than doing the cardboard hilt, which was kind of a pain in the butt, I did a very dirty leather-wrapped one where the cardboard tang that goes all the way through just got the glue and leather on it. Unfortunately, this one was really fun to swing around, and now it's less fun because it was from this one forward that I took the thing that I knew intuitively but hadn't executed on. You need to be alternating the orientation of your layers of cardboard so that they are not with the ridges all in alignment, so that you get a little bit more rigidity. Which brought me to this one, which again I was pretty happy with, and I wanted to then do a different design. I'm gonna butcher it, but this one is designed off of a Quinquedilla, which is an Italian short sword, so named because it is 5 fingers wide at the base. For this one, I did a 3D printed handle there, mainly because I didn't want to do the leather wrap. I didn't like how that one worked. And I was really happy how this one came out with, except for the fact I hate that I cheated, because the handle is the same as the blade because it was all the same profile that was just cut out, but ultimately I was really happy with how that came out. But I wanted to get back to something a bit closer to the original geometry, which brought me to this one and the first 5-layer construction that I did. I put a fuller in this one. I did not glue this one up well, and I was like, I'm just going to tape everything together, but this one I did return to the cardboard all the way through for the handle, which is kind of a pain in the butt. It's not the worst thing in the world. I did end up moving away from it for then the second version of it, at which point I went back to the leather wrap and learned that it works a lot better if I laser cut out the things that are maybe too big to go in the 3D printer, but then printing out the handle is then I can wrap it and then assemble it. Which then brings us to the last one I did, which again, modeled off of, this one's modeled off of a rondel. So this is the shortest one I've done. And this one, I had, for all of these, had the intention of, can I assemble this the way you would a sword? Can I have it so that, okay, I've got my blade part, and then I put my handle on, I put my guard on, then my handle, and then my pommel. Hey, look, I put a pommel on a sword. This one, I'm happiest with the construction of, and I'm not sure what the next design I'm going to do is. My limiting factor is, in order to not have floppy sword, I need to then have material that I can cut both ways of, which essentially is requiring me to find 3-foot by 3-foot panels of cardboard, which I can't find readily. I can readily find 2-foot by 4-foot, and those are super fun to work with. And the other issue there is sometimes you make the assumption that all of the cardboard is going to be the same thickness because it all has that same stamp on it that says it's single-walled cardboard, and it's not. It's off by 20/10ths of an inch, which then makes a big enough difference. I do have one knot sword that I want to show off. Because I also made a flail. Again, this is completely made of cardboard, including the chain, which I'm thrilled works, and it is really sloppy, and I can do a much better job on it, because again, this was before I was doing the alternating back and forth kind of thing. But again, the handle is cardboard all the way through, which only has one pin that is sort of keeping it rigid, so it's a bit floppy in places. But if you know how to hold it, you can then hold up this 8/10ths of a pound flail and swing it around, and it would probably hurt someone. So this one I'm actually a little scared of because, oh, I may have accidentally made a weapon with that one. You all should make swords out of cardboard. It's so incredibly cheap and easy to do, and you can bang out like 2 of them in a day if you're like in the mood for it, and it doesn't require a lot of attention. I'll have them out there if you want to ask any more in detail questions, but thanks for letting me share. It's okay. I'll just make another one.
Just make another one. Impressive. Last on our list, we have Kyle, who has an electric vehicle conversion.
Hey everybody, I'm Kyle. I'm a visitor here, but I'm considering joining, mostly because you guys have resources that I don't have at home. So I have, how do we zoom on this? Okay. Up? On the projector? Oh, I got you. Okay, so 17 years ago, when I was in high school, gas prices were crazy. It was like 2008, right? So gas prices were wild, and I was like all about environmental stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna change the world, and I'm gonna build an electric car. I got like 80% of the way there, and I messed up, and it started on fire, and this whole thing, you know. Anyway, started my passion for electronics. I pursued a career in electronics, went to college, did all that stuff. I worked at DigiKey for a little while, which anybody that's in the electronics area is familiar with DigiKey. And then project died. I was depending on my parents' funding for the whole thing, and so I felt bad because like one of the main components exploded, and it was very expensive. And I was like, okay, well, we'll just kill this project because I didn't have the money at the time. I was in college. So about probably 2 months ago, I saw another video on YouTube of somebody converting a cart or a truck to electric, and he's like, oh yeah, it's really cool. And I was thinking about getting these parts from the scrapyard, and I was like, oh, junkyard parts. I bet things are a lot cheaper now than they used to be, you know, back when I was doing it with all brand new parts, because, you know, electric cars weren't very popular back then. So now I found out that you can buy like a Nissan Leaf motor from the junkyard for like $1,000, and like you can get a battery from Chevy Bolt for like $1,500. So I was like, okay, we got something here. And then I was talking to my wife, and I was hoping she would shoot me down immediately, and then she did the wrong thing and didn't shoot me down. So then a few days later, I bought this battery from a place in Kentucky on eBay for $1,600 off a 2023 Nissan Bolt, or Chevy Bolt, sorry. And so my daughter and I road tripped up there. We went and picked it up. There's the battery in the box of my truck. This is about 400 volts nominal, or you know, fully charged. So it's nothing to play around with. 60 kilowatt hours. So I bought that, and I was on a mission to locate a car. So I was looking for a car that had like a bad transmission or something wrong with it. So I found a Nissan Rogue. If you're familiar with cars, you know Nissan Rogues have crap transmissions. They need to go out like all the time. So got this thing for $2,000, towed it home. And then I was like, oh, I need to figure out how to get this battery out of the back of my truck because it weighs 1,000 pounds, and I don't have enough friends for that, right? So I had to build this gantry for a chain hoist. And built that out of lumber and got started. I hooked it up, and I hoisted it into my garage and began disassembly. Of course, the same day I got the battery out of the truck, I had to go buy a motor, so went and bought a motor in Murfreesboro. So this is from a Nissan Leaf. And so, is there a way to focus this better? Or? I don't know. Anyway, so this bottom part is the motor in red. In the middle is the inverter. So that takes DC power and converts it to three-phase AC for the motor to consume. And then on the top is a power distribution unit and the charger. So that'll charge the car, but also the power distribution unit takes 350 volts or 400 volts from the main battery pack, drops it to 12 volts so that the rest of the car can use. Yeah, I guess we can go like that. And then so I started disassembling the Bolt battery pack. It comes in like 10 different modules. So each one of these here, you got module there, and each one of those is like 40 volts, roughly, fully charged. I have an electronics degree, it's okay, I'm not gonna kill myself, okay? I mean, this possibility is still there, but. So I 3D printed all these little caps, green caps, to protect the terminals on each one of the battery posts so that, you know, if I was dumb and dropped a metal tool or something, it wouldn't explode in my face. And luckily it didn't. Here's inside the battery. Here's some like some of the electronics in there. So there's main contactors that can switch on and off the main battery power and all that stuff. So I'm going to harvest some of that to use in the car. Oh, I didn't mention. So the Bolt battery is like a big piece, and it's meant for a car that's designed for that to mount underneath. So this Nissan Rogue doesn't have that room underneath to mount a whole battery pack. So I'm taking the modules out of it so I can disperse them throughout the car where they actually fit. And that's where you guys come in. I need help fabricating. Well, I need the tools to fabricate it, and also the help. So then my daughter Abigail in the back, can you raise your hand? Hi. she helps. She helped me remove all the modules from the battery pack this last weekend. So we got those all out of the main battery, and then we can take this clamshell and scrap it, or one of you guys wants it, whatever. And so yeah, we got the battery modules out. There they are, sitting on a rolling cart. I got 2 different carts because it just gets kind of top heavy and whatever. I don't want these to tip over. Obviously, they're dangerous. So yeah, so then I revived my YouTube channel from back then. So I started a new, I renamed it Resistor Garage, and I'm kind of documenting the journey on there. So if any of you guys want to follow, by all means. So yeah, I hope to have this done within the next year and a half. I mean, it's gonna take some time. I got a full-time job and stuff, so doing this on nights and weekends and whatever, and it's been just blazingly hot, so that's slowing me down right now. But I plan to have it done within the next year and a half. I plan to have about a 200-mile range. Car will have air conditioning. I'll eventually equip like fast charging support right out the gate. I'm not going to have like probably air conditioning right out the gate or fast charging capability. I'll just be able to charge at my home at a standard rate, but then you can add in fast charging later, so that'll give me the ability to get more range. So I'll go from like a 12-hour charge time to like a 1 or 2 hour charge time. Go ahead. What's that? I bought a Nissan Rogue. That's what it's going to go in, a 2015 Nissan Rogue. Go ahead.
I know you mentioned it was 1,000 pounds. I don't know if you mentioned, are they lead acid or are they lithium?
These are lithium. Yep, lithium battery cells. Go ahead.
I think I heard you mention you had seen a video recently of somebody doing a conversion. I just watched one, I think earlier today, that was a guy with a Toyota, like an 80s Toyota.
Yes.
Is that the one?
It was a blue one. Yeah, that exact video. And I think I actually commented on there.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome, because I just watched the whole way through today. So
Yeah.
it's fresh in my mind, and then hearing you talk about it.
Yeah.
Cool. I definitely want to connect.
There's a lot of people doing it right now. Of course, the gas price is, of course, a motivator, but I don't have the kind of money to just drop to 25 grand or 30 grand or something on a vehicle on an electric vehicle. I'd love to have one, so I'm hoping I should be able to come in with a total budget under 8,000, but realistically probably under 10,000. But I'll get a car that's got the motor I got has like 200 horsepower, and I don't know if you know anything about electric motors, but they got just like crazy torque off the line, so it should be pretty zippy. I mean, I'll definitely be able to do highway speeds, probably do 100 miles an hour, honestly, and 200-mile range. Go ahead.
How are you gonna convert to fast charging?
There is. I'm trying to do as much of this open source as I can. So I have a control board in there that'll replace basically the ECU. It's called the VCU, a vehicle control module, and that's all open source. So I have that in production right now from China, but the guy that designed it, he's out of the UK, and so he's developed some fast charging stuff where that can communicate over CAN bus to the fast charging module, and that will negotiate with the like charger that you would actually charge. So they have a communication protocol between them, and he's developed an open source board that can do that negotiation, or you can use one from a BMW i3, I think. So I'll probably use the i3 one. It looks like that's a little bit cheaper option. So yeah. There's another question?
Pretty ignorant to the whole thing, but
Oh, it's okay.
one of my first questions is, do you see any hurdles like with getting a screen legal?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. We're not.
You're on video streaming today.
Yeah. I mean, my channel's on the internet already, so. Yes, there are concerns about that. I don't know what to do about that, so we're probably just gonna. What they don't know is whatever. Go ahead.
Was the only consideration for the car, the transmission being bad and them being readily available, or did you just
Yeah, I went through a lot of thought on the car. So initially, what I was going to do was get a car with a manual transmission, because typically, back when I first did it all those years ago, typically you would buy a transmission or buy a motor and mate it to a manual transmission. There'd be no like no clutch or anything, because they can start off from 0 RPM. So I was initially going to do that. So I was looking at like a Toyota Matrix, Pontiac Vibe, anything that had a 5-speed manual transmission. But it turns out you can buy the Nissan Leaf stack that I had there. That also has a transmission integrated into it. So that kind of opened up more possibilities for me. So I was looking for something like a smaller or a mid-size SUV. I didn't want something to be too heavy. I wanted to still have a decent amount of range. A lot of people will convert like pickup trucks, small pickup trucks, like a Ford Ranger or something like that, but then you lose some range because they're not very good for wind resistance, and also they're quite a bit more heavy than SUVs, stuff like that. Go ahead.
Did you ever consider just fixing up the leaf or the bolt?
Yeah, that would be a lot easier, right? Wouldn't it? Yeah. I have, yes. I'm not great with like body work and stuff like that. Yeah. Why would you do it the easy way, right? So no, but I have electronics experience. This is kind of like, I don't know. It's like a proving to my 18-year-old self that I can do it. Like I can make this actually happen. So it's kind of like a passion project. So, go ahead.
Can you explain why you did the 5-speed box and non-automatic?
Not an automatic. Oh yes, because an automatic requires the motor to be running all the time because it creates pressure or fluid pressure in the automatic transmission, and then the automatic transmission has to like shift through gears, right? Where an electric motor has like just crazy torque. So you could put a manual transmission in like 3rd gear and take off, and then you could just leave it in 3rd gear all the time. You wouldn't even need the shifter anymore. In fact, the Leaf transmission is a single speed gearbox. It doesn't even have reverse. How it goes in reverse is it turns the motor backwards. So yeah, it's really unique. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've just an extension to that.
Yeah.
You said you leave it in 3rd gear, effectively.
Yeah.
So if you do that, then how do you control speed if you also have 4th and 5th you could use?
Yeah, so the speed would be controlled by the motor, and yeah, you wouldn't necessarily need 4th and 5th. You could switch to 4th or 5th to get better efficiency or like a lower RPM out of the motor. But really, electric motors have like a really flat torque curve, whereas like a gasoline motor has really at like a low RPM, it's got low torque, and then it kind of comes up like this and goes back down, right? So your power band in a gasoline motor is really narrow, so that's why you need to switch through gears to get to different speeds, where it's really flat on an electric motor, so it doesn't really care what kind of RPM it goes at. So yeah, no problem.
So you're taking the Leaf transmission out and it's gonna fit in the road?
No, it's not gonna fit. I have to have custom axles made. I have to fabricate motor mounts for all of this. Yeah, it's not gonna fit in there just nice and dandy, which is why I came here, because you guys have tools that I don't have at home. So I would like to use, I plan to use probably like a CNC machines, milling, plasma cutting, stuff like that, where I can cut pieces of metal and fabricate them. I also need to make like custom axles, because the axles that are in the Rogue aren't going to match up to the Leaf. They have different splines. They're also going to be different lengths. The motor's going to be in a different location. So it's going to be a lot of fabrication. I have electronic skills. I don't have a lot of fabrication skills. So we're gonna raw dog our way through that one. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kyle. I look forward to hearing more. Upcoming events. This Thursday we have new member onboarding. If you're interested in membership, or if you are a trial member, it's required to come and go through a little process. You hear about our history and vision and what makes a good member and what you can do to get integrated here. We do those twice a month if you can't make it this Thursday. But that's this Thursday at 7 o'clock. Saturday is Quilty Pleasures. If you're into quilting and you'd like to do quilting with other quilting fans, you can come and hang out in the classroom and work on that. That's from 1 to 4, I believe. On Monday, we have Carve a Wooden Spoon class. We have 2 of them, one at 2:30 and one at 6:30. And that's probably with Bill, I think. Yes. So if you're interested in that, it's hand carving. And then also a couple more big events coming up. We have our market on October 4th. We were in the vendor phase before, and now we're in the public phase. So we are trying to advertise to get people to come to the market and purchase things and see Knox Makers and see all the awesome things that we have here. So we are doing social media advertising and possibly another poster jam probably, and tell your friends, and all come and hang out on October 4th, even to volunteer or to shop or both. So talk to Aliki about that. Hi, Aliki. And coming up on August 7th through 9th, we're having the FreeCAD North America meetup. We are hosting it here at Knox Makers. So Billy, our Billy here, is a new FreeCAD developer, and he said that he didn't want to go anywhere for the meetup this year, so he's hosting it here. So that'll be 3 days long. It'll be in the classroom. There's going to be Friday and Saturday are the main days, talks, demonstrations, a keynote on Saturday. If you're interested in that, the link is on our calendar, but you have to sign up with FreeCAD's website, but you can find it through the link on our calendar. So I hope you all come to the FreeCAD meetup in August. And that is all I have for the evening. Go out and make some cool stuff.